I'd like to dedicate this episode to Pepsi Blue. Gone, but not forgotten. Also, Korea. Congratulations, Korea. Welcome to Must Be Nice. I am your host, Evan Mumford, and I am very excited for this episode. We are lifting off. Literally, we have Flight being introduced to our city by Mark Robertson. Mark is one of those guys. He works at the airport. He's either a mechanic or an engineer. So I don't know what he does there exactly, but he's very educated on airplanes and all the necessary equipment that goes along with airplanes. Airplanes and all the fixins. He's your guy. Mark is a local comedian in Victoria. He's a transplant. He's from Shane. Where's Mark from? Edmonton. Mark is from Edmonton, Alberta, and he's been in Victoria for a few years now. I think 7 or 8, and he ran this room called Ratfish, kind of the foundation room in Victoria for so many years, and he's still working with Ratfish. There's a fringe show this summer. He created the room where a lot of us got our starts. We branched off. We had 2 rooms. I had helped him at one point with a few other comedians. But Mark is people call him the godfather of Victoria comedy. I don't know if he hates it, but I think he's deserving of the title. So I'm very excited for you guys to hear this episode and hear what he has to say. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I had a pretty good weekend. I'm excited the sun is out. That helps. It kind of just helps everything, it seems. I did a show in Chinatown on Friday. It was an improv kind of bucket list, set list show. You put your cute little hand in a bucket and you pull out a topic and you talk about it on stage, and it was really fun. I was happy to do that. And Saturday I did a show with Off the Clock playing drums at Logan's Pub, which was fascinating to me. I hadn't mic'd up drums for like 8 years when I used to play, and it was so cool to hear the band play live in such an environment. My bass drum was mic'd. It sounded really cool to me. I had such a blast playing. Tonight's music is you guys are in for a real treat if you haven't heard this band. They're called Out of Controller. They're still playing. They're from Moncton, New Brunswick, or maybe Halifax, Nova Scotia. Kind of the two melded together. I don't know where they really base themselves out of, but I think they're such a great pop punk band. They released this album called Don't Play Dumb. I think in like 2012. A couple of years after, they released another LP called Television Zombie, where my buddy Chris plays drums on it. And I think that it's kind of apples and oranges. No, that's the wrong phrase. It's tomatoes. It's both really good albums, and definitely check them out. And they've since released a couple EPs. One very recently called No Echo. That's also very good. You guys will like them. Check them out. That's all I really have to say at the beginning of this episode. And that's all I really have to say for this intro. I think we're good. I think you guys are going to like this episode. One of my favorite interviews and one of my favorite people to have in my room. And I kind of have to wrap this up quick because the sun is just glaring in my window, and I feel like I should be part of it. I should be part of that system today. And also, there's a weird like tracking. There's a guy who lives near us who tracks things, and we might be being tracked, and I can't say much more than that at this point. I'm definitely shaken up by it. It's a very strange thing, but maybe it's he's a bird guy. I don't know.
If you wanna go to a movie tonight, there's really just one restriction. 'Cause if you wanna go to a movie, girl, give me science fiction. Science fiction. Give me science fiction. Science fiction. Give me science fiction.
Hello, citizens. Hope you guys are doing well. I've been listening. I've been hanging out with you guys. We've been having so much fun together. And what we're going to do here is we're going to start bringing in real world things. We're too isolated. And when you isolate yourself, I believe that's interruption. I believe that's interruption to the balance of how the world's supposed to work. You can't isolate yourself from the world because then they're two separate things at that point. We're not looking to do that. I fear isolation. I constantly fear it. And then you got words thrown around like cult. No, utopia is not a cult. Let's never mix the two. We are going to work with the old world as closely as we can, because there's a lot of good to be had from it. And I think one of those great things is flight, leaving the place you're at and going somewhere very far away is integral to a happy society. 99% of people in a city will not go on an airplane and fly across the world and stay there. But having that option is, to me, psychologically liberating. The knowledge of knowing that at any point you can theoretically fly really far away and never come back is always appealing, and it's something I want to introduce to you guys. I want you to be happy. This has nothing to do with me or anything like that. This is for you guys. This is a psychological need. So I'm going to bring in my friend Mark Robertson, who I know he knows a lot about mechanics and he knows a lot about airplanes and how to really get this off the ground. Get it? Please, citizens, welcome me in welcoming Mark. Gotcha, Mark.
Gonchu?
Gotcha. Do you know what that means?
Oh, this is one of the slang.
You picked it up already? A little bit?
It's a good thing, I think. Gotcha?
I think so.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
okay.
It's a introduction. Gotcha. Hello. What's up?
Oh, like aloha.
It's like aloha, but less fun. It's kind of like there's nothing really fun yet here to be celebrating with aloha.
I noticed that.
And doesn't aloha Doesn't aloha mean goodbye and hello?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's the. I think you're just lazy. There's only one word. They only just came up.
Is that
with
what it
one.
is?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, I got to use aloha on a first date more. Because usually first dates are hello and goodbye.
Yeah, and the same.
It's so confusing. Like when my dad left me at 12, aloha, folks. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, it's the friendliest man.
He was Samoan though.
He was.
Yeah.
German now, weirdly enough. Yeah. Very strange transition.
Yeah.
But either way, happy that you're here, I think, because I think we need you. Can I be honest with you right off the top?
Yeah.
You're kind of here for like a structural purpose.
Okay.
You know, when like you're building a burger and you know something's missing that you know everyone's going to love.
Yeah.
So you kind of invite it on there as more of a procedure more than a love of the burger.
Right.
It's like I know people are going to want.
So nobody's going to love me being here.
No, you are here for a structural purpose.
Okay.
Meaning we don't have this. Citizens, I'm being unnecessarily cruel. This is going to be great. But we do need an airport. We need planes. Because I have huge dreams. Okay. And Mark, I know this is something you know about.
I work at an airport. You say you invited me on. And then you need an airport. You want an airport. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So
I'll tell you why in a bit, but okay.
I'm not sure that you really need an airport.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be honest, like getting here was the easiest and the most terrifying thing that's ever happened in my life.
Not fun.
Like I got a text on my phone today at 2:00 from a random, like not even a number, not a name or a contact. It was like one of those, like some hexadecimal number name thing.
That's correct. Yep.
It was like the file name of like, you know, when you take a picture with a digital camera and you can't tell what the
00123.
And it said interview must be nice 2 p.m.
That's correct. My citizens know there's an element of truth in this. And that to get to the city, you do have to go through a lot. I didn't. You were different. Most citizens get a bus ride here, and then my janitor Evan picks them up with his clamp hands. You were a bit of a different case.
All right,
because I needed you more than you need me.
You didn't want me to know how to get here from just
because I don't want
tiny bit that I saw out of the.
I don't want you to come back.
And
not to be rude or anything, but I'm having. Can I say something?
Yeah.
People keep calling me hedonistic. People are like, Evan, you're just introducing things that you liked in the old world. I'm sick of this. People love airports. Oh, people love going to airports and they love planes.
Okay.
So I am doing this for my citizens because I am the mayor and I look out for them.
So, okay. So do you want people to come here?
Certain people.
Do you want people to be able to get away from here?
Yes. If they don't want to be here, they have every right to leave.
Okay.
All of my citizens know this. I tell them daily when I'm having fun with them.
When you're having fun. Okay. I got to take you at your word. I've seen some people here, like in the tiny little views that I've been allowed out of the tinted windows.
I heard Evan told me all about your dad. You went to the bank.
Yeah.
How cool is that bank? It's a credit union.
It was cool. They just, I didn't even have an account. They just gave me $6.
That would be correct. $6.
And then I bought some beer, and then I was whisked away in the black SUV again to the mayor's mansion.
You were not whisked.
I feel like it was like a North Korea sort of tour thing. Like I just got to see. There was the brewery was mostly like it had beer.
It's a paradise.
But it was mostly pictures of beer.
Look, pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Yeah. And pictures are worth
2 cents at the Value Village in the old world.
Yeah. And pictures were only $6 at the brewery. That was pretty good. A pitcher of beer for $6. It's like back in the.
Oh, okay. We got a funny guy, which is cool. I mean, that's cool and everything.
I'm trying to make I honestly feel a little nervous.
Did you have fun drinking the beer at the brewery? Was it fun for you?
It was like an escape, I think. It's helped me settle my nerves a little bit. Like I said, I'm nervous.
Yeah, you're a little nervous right now. I can tell.
And most of the citizens that I saw lined up outside the brewery were, I think, trying to do the same thing, calm their nerves, just sort of.
Well, it's a nervous world we live in. I believe. I think there is an element in everything you do and everything you see. If you're not nervous about it,
yeah,
then you're sting from the police.
Yeah, so
I'm nervous about every move I make. I constantly think of everything that's happening.
Every step you take.
That the police.
I feel like your citizens are worried about who's going to be watching them.
How many more can we do?
Do you really want, because what's going to happen with an airport is you will get, maybe you just want an airstrip. Maybe you want an airfield, like a whole airport. You get into government regulations. I'm not even sure what country you're in because we're 4 hours from. My
citizens know what country we're in. You don't need to know that information.
Okay.
Also, maybe I don't want airports. Maybe I want David Blaine because every little thing he does is magic. I had to get it in there. I'm sorry. I had to say it. Every little thing she does is magic. That sounds like a bad girlfriend, by the
way. Yeah, she's gonna make dinner. Just poof, and it's burnt. I'm thinking of Bewitched. Anyway, no, because you're gonna get an airport ID, like a
airport ID. What do you mean by that exactly?
So Victoria's airport ID is YYJ.
That's right, YYJ.
So Calgary's is YYC. Vancouver's is YVR. What is, do you know, like, any of your friends or acquaintances, any of the ones for other parts of Canada?
I know what you're talking about. Like, when you book a flight, it's like, what's your...
Yeah, there's a code on there. Like, LA is LAX.
It's a language, of course, LAX.
Yeah.
I feel like Halifax International starts with an X for some reason, but you're right. I do know Victoria is YYR.
YYJ.
Okay.
YVR is Vancouver. So you can kind of get to pick. Like YYJ, they just kind of gave out, and Victoria wasn't really trying.
Yeah.
But YVR
is what you can pick.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So we talked to. We'll make a submission to ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, headquartered in Montreal, and we'll make an application. We'll pick a 3-letter airport identifier, and if it hasn't been taken already, and you make the $15,000 application fee, it's yours. So do you have any ideas, like any 3-letter code that you might think would work for?
I have two.
Does the... Yeah. Does it?
I have two.
Yeah.
I have two in my head right now. You want to hear what they are?
Yes.
First one, WWF. Second one, WCW.
All right.
You pick the monster. Those are the two. Can I use WWF as an area code?
As an airport identifier, I think they might have some rules about, but you know what? Screw the rules. You're going to pay the $15,000. And I also think that
It's $15,000?
Yeah, but I think what's actually going to happen is even if they deny it, I think what we're really looking at here, and I'm just talking about your security apparatus. I'm going to call it apparatus, the Buck Boys and the black SUVs. Would you call it? It's your police or?
They're police, but I think they'd be overall security. They've been telling me they're happy to work other jobs. They can get in there screening.
Yeah,
they'll be in the airport working.
So I think with the security that you're going to want to have in place,
right?
You'll be able to you're going to be like a ghost airport. You're going to pick your identifier, and you guys are just going to roll. So so I think it's up to you. Do you want?
Like I kind of do. Remember that Tom Hanks movie, The Terminal?
Yes.
There is nothing honestly more appealing to me than an empty airport.
Oh man,
it's
like those. You've been on those websites where the people go and explore like malls and stuff that are abandoned. So 20 years afterwards, and they show all of the like plants growing up, and they go through the mall, and there's like nothing in there, but it's all the shops are still there and the fixtures.
That's
and everything.
Right. I did that recently at the mall. I went to an HMV. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, what I find interesting, you say there is an element of individuality. You can pick your area code, but why are the West Coast? Like, why is it so close with YYJ? Then it's in Vancouver. You say it's YY.
YVR.
YVR.
Yeah.
Does it have to be? Why are both Ys?
The Ys are... So long. You really want to know. The real answer is that originally they were 2-letter codes.
2-letter codes.
And then there's only so many letters in the alphabet. I'm not sure the exact number, but then they ran out, and people were trying to get ones that were related to their cities. So they added Y to the Canadian ones to distinguish them from some of the other ones around the world. Like London Heathrow is one of the early ones. It's
of course.
LHR. LAX, LA International was LAX, but we ended up with YYJ, which has nothing to do at all with...
Is JFK JFK?
Yeah.
It'd be bad if it was just JK.
Yeah. He's still alive. He was never assassinated. JK. So you can, I don't even know, if we're in Canada, you can be Y.
We are in Canada.
We are in Canada. Okay.
Yeah, and my citizens know this, and they know this when they signed up to be here. You know this. They didn't. They came with an application to me, and they were disclosed the location with an NDA, primarily non-disclosure. What's the A in that?
Yeah.
What is it? Non-disclosure agreement.
Non-disclosure agreement.
You're not giving the location out to anybody. Everyone knows that. We are in Canada. People know that much. I personally love the coast, so maybe that might give you a...
And then if people are really smart, they realize it's within a 4-hour driving distance of the Victoria International Airport, where I was...
That's correct.
Absconded from today.
Yes, but 4 hours could be... We could be in the States, but I just said we were in Canada. 4 hours... You can do a lot in 4 hours. No, I will never. No one will. It doesn't matter.
We look around. I see from where we are, your vantage point on the hill here. We're kind of in the
middle of nowhere.
Middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. Do you think this was deliberate? Yes. We are surrounded by nothing but open opportunity.
Okay.
That's why we all kind of signed out to be here. Let's build something together.
So maybe because building an airport is very expensive. A full airport, if you want to put in a terminal, you want to have all that stuff. You want to have you want to have customs, you want to have international flights, you want to have all that stuff going on. That's pretty expensive. But I think if you want more sort of covert access, if you want people to sort of come and go at your control, with a bit more oversight, I'll say, then I think maybe a heliport might be what you're looking for. Heliport or air, like a blimp airship terminal.
I don't want to have any terminals. I'll be frank. My father got terminal cancer.
Okay, Frank.
It was just skin cancer, but he heard the news in a terminal, so it's quite a touchy subject to me.
So if you're going to be Frank, are you Frank Jr.? Was your dad Frank Sr.?
Terminals are trash.
Yeah, you want a heliport is what you want. You want a heliport.
Define that sounds like a teleport.
You know what? You want it. Yes. So super cool.
Are you
to start with
introducing-
because it sounds good.
Are you introducing supernatural shit like Ryan Steele did?
No, heliport. And you want a seaplane base because there's a lovely lake at the bottom of the hill. So a seaplane, so you can fly a plane that can land at a regular airport somewhere else. You can pick up things, drop things or people off, and then you can land on the water here on the lake. And a heliport, which is it's a airport for helicopters, just helicopters. So basically, you have a big landing pad, a big square pad, with a big H in the middle. So when somebody's flying over in their helicopter and they're like, "Oh, where can I land?" Well, there's a B over there. I can't land on the B because that's for blimps. And then there's a L over there. I can't land there because that's for the thing, the air mode of transport that starts with an L. And then they'll see H, like, holy, that's where we got to land. Helipad. So they land at the heliport, and then you can put it, and because you don't need that much space, you could put it on the roof of the mayor's mansion. Like when you're watching some super cool.
It would be scary. I get scared easily.
You be scared of the noise.
I get scared of noises.
But I think
Can you put a silencer?
They have very quiet. Have you seen the 80s hit show Airwolf? It's about a silent helicopter.
Is it?
Yeah. So
no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's called Whisper Mode.
Whisper Mode.
Yeah. There's also a movie called Blue Thunder, which was turned into a short-lived TV series, and also that helicopter had a mode called Whisper Mode, so it would make the helicopter really quiet.
Hey, I wanna talk to you about things quietly.
Yeah. So put the helicopter, because that's the main noise from helicopters is the people inside. They have to shout so loudly over the sound of the helicopter. They're louder than the helicopter, and that's why it's like going to Starbucks and have that music turned up.
That's what it's for?
And then the people inside shout. Now Starbucks is loud. Turn the music down.
Yeah.
So turn Whisper Mode, make everybody whisper in the helicopter. It gets super quiet. And then you won't get scared anymore.
I love the idea of Whisper Mode.
Whisper Mode.
Oh, here's a question.
Yeah.
Have you seen Flight with Denzel Washington?
Yes.
Is that a real thing? Like, that's based on a true story, right?
You mean it's based on the fact that some pilots, just like some portion of the population, are drug addicts?
Do you think, is that true?
No.
Pilots.
No, they're 100. There's a screening. No pilots are drug addicts.
Isn't that like a thing? It's so funny. Like in high school, they're like, Evan, don't take acid because they test your hair for acid in pilot school. Everyone wanted to be a pilot for like a year, and it's like you can't do acid because they're going to see it in your hair when you go to pilot academy.
Yeah, that's like how they know. That's how they know Napoleon died from acid overdose. They tested his hair, right?
Is that right?
Yeah. Or arsenic. I
one of the two.
Yeah, I didn't read the whole article. But
a second question, which I feel the need to tell you, is when you talk about airports, this is the helipads more. I like this already, because people aren't really in my equation. I'll be honest with you. The real reason I got you here is because I have a food shipment. This is delivering goods. So don't think about planes with people. This is delivering goods and citizens. I mean goods. You're going to be so happy with this food shipment.
Okay, Your Honor, when you see
Thank you.
a James Bond movie,
sure, your golden eyes, your pink leather jackets,
The Spy Who Loved Me, any of the other James Bond movies that we can't remember right now, when you see the evil supervillain's lair, he doesn't have an airport, an airstrip. I'm not saying that you're a supervillain. I'm not saying you're evil. If you want to limit access to the city and have a little bit more control, you want it's something like what you see in a James Bond movie, which is a helipad, right? Like you don't have a volcano with the top that opens up, but you have a big square on the ground with an H.
It is evil.
Yes.
Like when you play like GoldenEye, James Bond 64.
Yeah.
Inevitably you end up on a helipad shooting bad people.
Yes.
Ever see Bushwhacked?
No. What's Bushwhacked?
It's Daniel Stern and a bunch of other character actors. 1996 it came out, and there's a final scene where like a helicopter's coming down and there's guns and
every cool movie Like it's
Ooh, I like this.
Top Gun. They got let's fly by the tower, all of that stuff. It's like that's fine. But his buddy dies, right? Everything that's Rambo, brother. The Russian Hind helicopter comes up. The machine guns. Every cool movie has a helicopter. You want to have a little bit more control, a little bit more constraint over access to and from your city. You want a helipad.
Yeah, I want a helipad for transferring goods. I don't think the citizens want to leave. I don't think you're bringing it to kind of a psychotic nature. I want my citizens to leave if they want. I don't want them to think that helipads. The reason I like the helipads is because of the cool movies. Look, Juno didn't have a helipad. I like helipads because you have a helipad. It means you're strong. You're a man of wealth. You're a man of character. You show me a man with a helipad.
Yeah,
I show you a man who's got his things together.
We can do, and the helipad, it's a lot more economical. I'm not sure. Like, it's amazing what you guys have done infrastructure-wise.
It's pretty interesting.
Already.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of the storefronts, again, they look like they mainly have photographs of the things that are supposed to be in the stores and the windows. But the fact that you have these buildings, the fact that you have these roads, it's really amazing what you've done. So really, the helipad is just a bigger. So we can pick, if we pick the airport identifier, even the helipad's going to have an airport identifier. And I think this is going to be so cool, so custom. Like I said before, a regular helipad, H, right?
Big H, when you can see it from the sky.
Your helipad,
yes,
put whatever you want in there. Doesn't have to be an H. You know it's the helipad because it's got the twisted sister letters that everyone drew on their binder in grade 11, right?
Or Aussie.
Or it's got like,
So I should pick something to identify it as this is where I want you guys to land. Yeah. I think I want my helipad to just, man, do you have any suggestions? You were in the city. What fits my aesthetic? What would fit my aesthetic?
Like, I don't know, a picture of a hot dog?
I have the aesthetic of a hot dog, citizens. And this is the
No, I don't know. What's a thing? I mean, they use an H. The old world's using an A. You don't need to be stuck with those old tropes
of letters or anything.
So if you want to be really direct and symbolic about it, you just put a picture of a helicopter. But and then be like, hey, this is the helipad, but we're not using the old H because this is the new world. We're going to use a picture of a helicopter. But what if someone wants to land their hot air balloon there?
Well, also, it's not just going to be helicopters, right? We're talking about planes. We're talking mostly planes that would be coming, right?
No, well, the helipad is
that only for helicopters?
It's about 24 feet square, and it's just about big enough to land
because
a helicopter can take off vertically and land vertically, so it needs less space. Whereas for an airplane, you need like couple thousand feet for a runway. You need
that changes everything. Because I was gonna just have like a graffiti artist do the flight cover with Denzel. But that's gone out the window.
That won't be big enough.
What about John Q? That was a movie Denzel did where he was quite sad. Quite a sad movie. Have you seen that? John Q with Denzel.
What about, something lame?
Yeah.
Just an example. Skull and Crossbones.
Skull and Crossbones.
Right? Like pirate, like
Monster Energy. They have that cool like M.
Yeah.
With it's like a dragon skin, I think. It's like a scaly M.
Yeah.
I've always thought people are so self-aware and ironic these days. I actually think that's a cool logo, man. Monster Energy.
It is. What? I would get that as a tattoo. What would you get as a tattoo?
The Monster Energy.
Yeah.
Well,
and then I think, I don't know how it works with the bucks and the rest of the industry and the banks and everything, but you could, this is brilliant. Monster Energy could pay you to build a helipad if they put the Monster Energy.
Sponsored by Monster Energy.
It's got their logo in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. And you can't, I mean, you're not going to tell them where it is.
Oh,
But
no.
But it's like that. And then in all the airport charts that pilots use and stuff, they'll flip through the YYJ, YVR,
Yeah.
LAX, all that stuff. And then they're going to see the Monster Energy drink logo, and it's going to be the helipad for
WWF.
for WWF.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And can I say something? I'm sure if I went to Monsters, like, hey, I'm using your logo for my helipad.
Yeah.
They're gonna be stoked because can you imagine the PR of Monster just like, actually, sir, here's my lawyer, Monster
Yes.
Energy. They're gonna be like, yeah, bro,
Yeah.
you can just surf on it. You're gonna,
And then they're going to be like, "Hey, our lawyer's going to talk to you about some NDAs."
Oh,
right?
that's funny.
And then we got to talk to you, but make sure there's no copyright infringement.
He's a cool
what's,
guy.
What are you planning on calling your airport? And then you're like, "Oh, we're going to call it WWF," and they're like,
right.
"Boom, we're in. We're in. What could go wrong?"
and the suits come, man. I don't want the suits to come. That's the thing.
God,
This is a great
they
idea.
ruin everything.
I support the helipad. So so you think it is going to be like small helicopters transferring goods?
Yes,
No planes.
no planes. I don't think so.
Thank you.
Whisper mode, almost
Whisper mode.
when they hit the border of the city.
Yes.
They got to hit. They
Turn
gotta
it down, boys.
Into whisper mode.
Turn it down, boys.
Into whisper mode. Nobody knows. They come in. You hit the lights. People, they got to land after dusk, right? After, boom, floodlights come out.
Right.
The Monster Energy logo lights up. They come in. They come down. They
snoozing,
drop.
I'm
Yeah. You don't even know.
Know what's happening?
But the helicopter lands in whisper mode.
Yeah.
Then I guess the Buck Boys or some other
Security boys
they'll come out and they'll check
boys will
everything
be there.
over, make sure everything's cool with who's on the helicopter, and then unload. It's food primarily that you're bringing in.
It's up for Evan McDonald to know because I've prepared his clamps to be suited for this food specifically. I made him new clamps. Anyway, it's for this.
So he unloads the cargo
yes,
from the helicopter.
and he gets checked by the Buck Boys every time. Not because I don't
yeah.
trust him, because I just don't like him.
Yeah.
And they do quite a rough search.
And then they check everything out. It's all cool. And then high five to the pilot. High fives are okay, right? And then what do you say? What do they say to the pilot when he lands? They're like, "Oh,
Well, you make small talk.
so you'd say, hey,
Gotcha.
Gotcha. And then if the pilot doesn't respond with gotcha, you know,
Well, I know he's a scab. Or I'll be like, how was your flight there? Oh, he'd be like, oh, easy as blowing smoke in a baby's face there.
Yeah, boom. And you're like, this guy's in.
Guy gets it. If I go, how was your flight here? He's like, yeah, back at the office, Susan was bothering me. And he just gives a boring,
Right to the forehead.
I politely say, you're not welcome.
Yeah, cattle prod right to the
No, clamp,
boom,
maybe.
dead
at
right
best.
there, right
No
in the
one's-
helicopter.
I don't believe in murder.
Gone.
I don't believe in murder.
He's gone.
And there's no murder.
It wouldn't be murder. It would be capital punishment.
But I'm sure you have some concerns. You're so educated in this stuff. It's not just a helipad and a helicopter. What else is going to...
I mean, you need even the total amount of infrastructure compared to an airport, substantially less, but you still need some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You need some people who know. I mean, I know Evan McDonald's very busy.
He is quite busy.
But he, in the old world,
Mm-hmm.
they call it marshalling. They're the guys that they wave their little flashlights around and they make sure the pilot parks the plane in the right place.
Is that what that's for? I thought it was like a Cirque du Soleil thing.
I mean, if someone's good,
It becomes a Cirque du Soleil.
Yes.
But that goes for anything.
yeah.
If you're good at like sewing and you do it well enough, that's some Cirque du Soleil
Yeah, I mean,
shit.
I mainly type at work.
That's right.
But when you're in the flow and you get the flourish happening,
Yeah.
like that's some Cirque du
Oh,
Soleil
I like
shit.
that.
Yeah,
Once
I don't
you bring
know.
the flourish to anything,
So
what do I need?
You need someone to. It's a little bit easier with a helicopter because you don't move it around. It's called taxiing when you move the aircraft around on the ground and park them, because the helicopter lands on normally the H, but in your case the Monster Energy logo.
Yeah.
They land on, and then they're in the middle of the big circle and they're done pretty
Right.
much. But you need people who know how to handle the helicopter, how to get the cargo on and off.
Yeah.
Who know how to service this thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Evan, he's competent enough that he could.
He's willing to learn if he doesn't know.
Okay. So he probably needs a little bit of refresher, a little bit
Maybe.
helicopter specific stuff. But
Maybe.
he could probably get your ground crew.
How similar is it to an airplane as far as mechanics go?
It's very similar. The only thing is that on an airplane,
Mm-hmm.
they've got propellers turning that if you walk into it, it would take your head off.
Right.
Whereas the helicopter's got a rotor turning on top of it.
That's right.
That if you like get out there in the wrong direction, it'll take your head off. So So he just needs a little bit of training about access to the helicopter. But as far as refueling, servicing, those types of things, that would be sort of right up his alley.
Okay.
I know he's got a lot of work.
He does.
Like
but that's us and the citizens just displaying our cigarette butts everywhere
Yeah.
and kind of enjoying watching him pick them up.
Yeah.
Gladly, I will invent a trash can.
I mean, he is so good at it.
He's very fun. Have you seen him do it? It's quite
Yeah.
funny.
Like
It's quite funny.
The whole sidewalk in front of the brewery was covered
Oh yeah.
with cigarette butts.
Yeah.
And as soon as the buck boy got a hold of him on the walkie-talkie, he was there with his little, like it's a little electric, it looks like an ice cream man thing converted to,
He doesn't like to call it an ice cream thing.
yeah.
But it's clearly an ice cream mobile.
Yeah, and it had the music, like the...
That's right.
And it had the typical ice cream van music going.
That's right.
And as soon as he showed up, boom, he had that whole thing swept up into a pile. He had the cigarette butts like pulled apart. He had a big pile of tobacco. He rolled up his own cigarettes and he was smoking cigarette like
Yeah, he
minutes.
does very interesting work with the cigarette butts, and I got to give him credit for that. I do trust him around the helicopters now. We do talk about fueling.
Yeah.
That's fine. What else? What other maintenance?
Yeah. So I guess you'll need fuel too. But that can be trucked in. But as far you'll need typically, so unless the helicopter will be owned. Are you going to own your own helicopter fleet? Because then you got some other things you got to worry about.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I'm thinking one step at a time. I know I have a shipment of food that I need to bring by flight.
Then you don't need.
This might be a one-time only thing, by the way, just so you know.
So there's two. When you look at aircraft, you got maintenance and we got servicing. So very much like your car. So as long as you're not having any maintenance done, as long as the thing's not scheduled for an oil change or something breaks and you need somebody to fix it.
The helicopter men are expected to have all that stuff.
Yeah. So you're only doing servicing. You just top up the oil, put in some fuel, and then so polish the windows up. So you don't need to have trained aircraft mechanics. You just have people qualified as to do servicing. So that's all you need. So I like that idea. You start small, right? And then if you get to the point where like, hey, we're having 9, 10, 20 flights a day bringing in.
Right.
I guess food is what you're talking.
It was, again, at this juncture, food.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
You mentioned helicopters have what do you call them?
A rotor.
A rotor with the things.
Blades.
That go fast.
Yeah.
Have you touched one before? It's a weird childhood thing. I've never touched one of those.
I have touched a helicopter rotor blade, yes.
What are they like?
This will blow your mind.
How many are there? The more there are, the faster it goes?
No, not necessarily.
Why don't they have so many more?
So typical, so they're a typical, like MASH, those helicopters had two-bladed rotor.
So MASH was during the
Korean War.
Korean War. Okay, so we're talking 50s, late 50s?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. And then if you watched Apocalypse Now, those helicopters, Bell Huey helicopter, UH-1, that helicopter also has two blades.
You know what's funny? I've never seen Apocalypse Now. I always say to myself, I'll see Apocalypse later.
Basically, a helicopter has the mast system where it comes out of the top of the gearbox on the top of the helicopter is very complicated because the blades are very long, but they basically act as wings, like spinning wings. But because of the way that they move, they need to have a lead and lag. So the rotors are not it's not one big long piece of wood or something.
Right.
It's two pieces, and then in the center, they let the blades move back and forth, and then also change their angle so that they change their pitch to develop lift. And so, typical, because it's a very complicated thing, older helicopters very typically two-bladed
Two blades,
rotors.
okay.
As technology developed, it became easier to make them more complicated. So very typical nowadays would be a four-bladed rotor.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I guess they move so fast. You think there's
And in
much
fact,
more.
some of the Bell helicopters, if you look at the number designation of the helicopter, a Bell 212 helicopter has two rotor blades. A Bell 412 helicopter is basically the same helicopter, slightly different gearbox and stuff, but the main difference is it has 4-bladed rotor. So 212, 412. So you look at Bell helicopter designations.
Why? I don't understand the logic. Why wouldn't you go 2?
So with 4 blades, as you mentioned, you got more wing surface, you got more lift, you got more control.
Okay.
So you actually can, the helicopter can fly higher. It can lift off the ground faster. You've got more control the more blades you have. And some very, very large helicopters can have 8-bladed rotors. Some other very large helicopters.
Big boned.
We prefer the term big boned. Something like the Chinook helicopter.
The Chinook.
So that's it looks kind of like a banana if you look at it from the side, except they're usually green because the Army uses them. They'll have 3-bladed rotors, and they'll have 2 of them, one at the front and one at the back, and they turn and they intermesh. I'm making a movement with my fingers to show how they intermesh.
Yes.
So that way you get the lift equivalent of 6 blades.
Right.
But you have it in a slightly simpler format because those rotor masts only need to be able to manage 3 blades on each of them. So
I think I'm getting it.
yeah. So, but I think a typical helicopter that you would have land at your helipad would be something like a Bell 412, a 4-bladed,
4 blades.
maybe carry 4 or 6 people.
Maybe, but we got goods. That's the premise,
And
right?
then they can also sling some cargo. So a very typical thing that a helicopter will
Sling
do.
it in?
Yeah. So it's because they don't have a lot of cargo space inside of them, but they have this lift. So you'll see them fighting fires and stuff. They have a bucket on the bottom that they use to pick up water. They can also sling loads. So if you have some construction or you want to move some logs or you want to move some...
So they sling what?
Loads things. Helicopter. Load slinger. There was a movie... Sling Blade.
Of course, Sling Blade.
Which was specifically about a genius who developed a helicopter rotor that was specifically designed to carry large loads and sling them.
I made a mistake when I watched Sling Blade.
Yeah.
I thought it was a prequel to Blade.
Blade was, of course, a prequel to The Matrix because it's basically the same goddamn movie. People forget that.
Is that true?
Yeah. Blade came out first.
Right.
So all of those scenes where they... No, this pisses me off.
I've never heard this before.
Oh, are you kidding me? He's in black.
Yes.
And who's he fighting? The cops. Fake cops who aren't really cops, right? And then he's doing backflips off the wall and the walls are exploding because they're shooting up the scene and he's got... It's basically The Matrix. All of the cool stuff in The Matrix is ripped off right out of Blade.
That is unbelievable.
My man Wesley Swipes.
When he's on Tinder.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
You're right.
And it came out, I don't even know. It came out before.
Blade. What year did Blade come out? Little editor's note here. Blade came out in 1998. Blade 2 came out in 2002. Just put that in your back pockets, folks.
Helicopter blades, if you ever get a chance, if you're in like a museum or something,
right,
and you go and touch one because they are up until like the 60s, very common for the structure of the rotor blade to be wood, balsa wood on the inside, a balsa wood expanded core,
right,
wrapped in fiberglass with stainless steel or aluminum edges on it,
right,
to make a blade shape.
Yeah,
and but they need to keep it light. They need to keep it stiff, so they make a core out of balsa wood, and then it's all wrapped.
That is interesting.
Fiberglass. Yeah, and when you look at, you're like, oh, this is like some real high tech thing, and then you get up to it and you see it, and it's like all bumpy, like woven fiberglass, and if you could see inside, it's just like a balsa wood core.
So now most blades are made out of
made out of carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber.
Yeah, like a fancy race bike or a fancy race car, something like that. All woven out of carbon fiber.
You think the 4 blades would be sufficient for what we're looking for?
Yeah, you're looking for a 4-bladed helicopter. I think something like a Bell 412 would probably...
Bell 412.
Yeah, that would suit you guys.
That's
or
good to know.
Even a 222, which is what Airwolf... what beautiful machine. And has whisper mode and missiles.
That's right, whisper mode.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this now. Okay.
I think you just need Airwolf is what you need.
I do have one question, because I know I always think about the other end. I think about the old world. Leaving the old world, so this helicopter's coming from somewhere. There's air traffic police. I don't know. You have to go through borders.
Right.
Is it going to be a problem? Is there going to be suspicion if people are dropping goods off to this unknown, unlocated place?
If they're legal to load in Canada or in their point of departure, and you're not crossing over any international borders,
right?
Known international borders,
right?
I think you should be okay.
So when you depart from somewhere, you don't need to specify.
No, what you're supposed to do is file a flight plan. So especially if you're flying a commercial flight, so if you're flying some cargo and you're going to drop it off, that's considered a commercial flight. So for profit. So if you're going to fly, just an example, from Victoria to Port Hardy and drop off a load of goods, a load of food, for example, you would have to file a flight plan to tell them you're going to Port Hardy and planning to come back.
Okay.
And roughly what time you're expecting to leave and come
Okay.
back. But you don't have to tell them what you're taking.
Once you're above a certain height, I think that is out of our control. I think the skies are for everyone. That's what I've always said as a young boy. Skies are for everybody. People coming into my place with a helicopter, I'm afraid that they're going to release information where they came from, of where they're coming to. Is there any way around bypassing air traffic control or some sort of... Can they get here without notifying anybody? Just private helicopters just coming, I guess?
Yeah, if you're a private pilot and you're not flying commercially.
But these people would be. So that's illegal right away.
It would
There's
be
way
illegal.
around it.
It would be illegal.
I don't support that. I support legality.
So, I mean, there's obviously ways around it. This is how drugs are smuggled, okay? So they will fly an aircraft that's typically the right size and typically on the right route to be doing what's called just a private flight.
Right.
You don't have to necessarily file a flight plan. It's a good idea so that the idea is if you go missing, some people know what's happening. But it's a regulatory requirement is not that you file a flight plan. So they'll say, oh, I'm flying from here to there. And then they'll fly down, zip down to cross the border. They'll be in San Diego. They'll fly across the border into Mexico, drop down, drop some drugs, and then they'll fly back in, and then they didn't file a flight plan.
Or could you file a flight plan saying, I'm going to Alberta to deliver commercial goods. On the way to Alberta, whoops, here's some commercial goods to this helipad that no one knows
so
about.
This is, yeah. So, and then especially if you're slinging a load, you're not actually landing.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So you just fly the helicopter, right, from Victoria to Port Hardy.
Right.
You say, we're taking the scenic route, and you fly to wherever the fuck we are here on this beautiful, on the hill here.
It is beautiful.
It is.
Thank you.
And then the pilot's looking, and he's like, oh, there's supposed to be, a WWF.
There's somewhere around
airport's supposed to be around here.
The green light. They'll see the green light.
They'll see the green light on the hill and be like, I think it's over here. Someone will flick on the helipad lights. They'll see the beautiful Monster Energy logo.
Yes, that's right.
Illuminated.
Shining.
That'll
be green too.
Exactly. They'll fly over, and then the helicopter can continue on its graceful journey up to Port Hardy.
I like this so much better with so you see a lot of commercial flights do that. They have the goods like separate from the helicopter. It's kind of hanging down.
You're still going to be breaking the law.
Okay, so there's a bit of a legality thing, but look, you guys know I'm liberal with the rules. I will see things as I see fit, and I think this is the way to do it, because also, the people in the helicopter aren't going to see my place. I like that idea. They're just dropping the goods and leaving.
I mean, if you're not moving contraband,
no, this is nothing illegal.
Then there's no reason for you not to just file. You don't want people in your business, right? People can just log on if you filed a flight plan. People can just log on to a website and they can track your aircraft as it's flying.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't want the flight plan. I'm going to be honest with you. At this point, I like you. You've grown on me, but I'm going to be frank with you, and I trust you as a person. You're not going to rat on me, snake me out.
Hey, if I get home safe, that's all I'm really.
You'll get home fine.
Yeah,
and you're welcome to come back. Actually, I like you. I didn't think I'd like you at first, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But you're kind of a cool guy. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to get the people with the helicopter,
nice,
dropping the goods off.
Yes.
No flight plan.
No flight.
I do not trust them. That being said, I am going to register myself under WWF.
Yeah.
So they know where it is.
Yes.
The helicopter pilots know where it is.
Yes.
They'll be, there it is, and they'll keep going.
Yeah.
Do you get paid less as a helicopter pilot?
Yes.
That is
And
crazy.
because if you think about
I never thought about that.
The biggest airplane you can fly. So it's not exactly this, but the biggest airplane you can fly, the fastest airplane you can fly, with the most people on it, the most responsibility is what you're going to get paid the most money for.
Like the one in season 1 of Lost.
Exactly.
Well, the pilot episode.
The pilot episode,
Clever.
the guy was flying the plane. A giant plane like the Airbus 380, which is like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah.
That pilot gets paid $150,000 a year.
Obviously salary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helicopter, the biggest helicopter in the world can only
Right.
carry like 30 people.
Right.
So they're not going to get paid as much.
I never thought about the class system in the air because
Oh
I
my
like to
goodness.
believe the air does not have class. Like we don't have a class in my city. It's always disturbed me greatly. But I never thought about that. The helicopter would be lesser than. And it makes sense. They would be weirdos.
Yeah.
They would be strange. Oh, I got 4 blades. I got 6 blades.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry.
You still got like 20.
Where's your Airbus 303? Where's your 150 passengers?
Yeah,
who
exactly.
were trying to get to their thing?
Yeah. How many stewardesses, how many air hostesses on a helicopter? 0 or maybe 1,
Jeez.
right? How many on a regular big airliner? A dozen, right? So they're all waiting for you to get into the cockpit and you got your fancy hat. You take your jacket off, you hang it up, you're wearing a tie. You ever see a guy fly a fucking helicopter with a tie? What you see is what you get.
They're good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Well, you've. I'm going to install this. I am really going to do this. Helipad.
That's great, yeah.
Helipad. Couple of load deliverers, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Whisper mode only.
Whisper mode.
WWF.
WWF.
Airport identifier.
That's correct.
Helipad with the Monster Energy, sponsored by Monster Energy,
And you say it costs 15,000?
to register with ICAO and Montreal.
And sorry, IKO.
International Civil Aviation Organization. You know what? I actually have some friends that work there.
How is that IKO?
International
Yes.
ICAO ICAO ICAO. I have some friends that work there, and I have some relatives in Montreal. I can probably hook you up with an airport identifier for like 10 grand.
So $5,000.
Yeah, I can
less.
knock $5,000 off.
I will pay the $5,000 just not to have any sort of interaction with you or your family or friends.
Okay. I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sorry. You've been fine. Like, I'm not that close, to be honest with you. I like you. I like the helipad, but we're not,
I get it. No, it's bad.
you know.
We're going to keep a professional
It's a
relationship.
very
here.
professional relationship. I have your contact information.
I'm your guy. I can help you if you need some advice.
Hmm.
I just, it was great to get to see the city.
Thank you.
It was a real honor.
It's a beautiful city.
It is.
I have a beautiful
Some of the
place.
parts are so beautiful.
like my place.
Yeah,
I have
the
a great place.
Yeah, the compound.
Thank you.
It's beautiful, and I just a little more heads up, a little more warning. Maybe next time.
Yeah, we work fast here. It's
Yeah.
kind of live and let learn. Live and let live.
Yeah, I'm guessing I really don't have a choice. If you need me to come back, I'll be.
No, you have every right. Did they not tell you that when they came to pick you up? They were like, "Hey, you don't have to come with us."
I'm really excited to look in the next version of the airport publications that come out and
Yes.
see WWF in there.
That is true. I can't wait to. I'm right after this, right after you leave, which will be immediately after our conversation. I'm so excited to apply to the
Yeah.
ICAO.
Yeah, ICAO.
ICAO. That's dumb. That's dumb.
You can. Can
Can I change that?
well, if you.
Can I write them a letter?
Yeah, you get you 15 grand for the airport identifier. You could probably, if you gave them a little bit more money.
Here's $15,000 and 75 cents.
Yeah, change. I want to change your name. What would you change it to, though? ICAO.
I would change it to, look, no one here is getting hotter. Life is short. DNA dies eventually. I think it's time we learn to love each other. That's what I'd probably change it to.
I mean, I go with the airport identifier first.
I mean, if you're paying someone that much money, you should be able to suggest things.
I think so.
Like everything I buy that's over $5, I give a little like, hey, by the way, the sign is not rustic enough for my standards.
It's an international organization. It's an international organization headquartered in Montreal, so there is a very good chance you can bribe them.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Because when I say I have $1 million buckaroonies, they don't know what that means.
Oh yeah, I mean Russia's a voting member. You can probably.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I want to say thank you first and foremost.
Oh, it's been a real treat.
Has it been fun coming to my city?
You know what? I was a little nervous at first.
Of
I
course.
wasn't quite sure how to take
naturally
the invitation, and but it's been really interesting. I think I've learned a lot. I've seen it's amazing what you guys have done so far.
Thank you.
And I'd look forward to coming back and seeing how far we've developed and see if some of the storefronts.
I think having you on really showed me something. It showed me that I do need to take things more seriously as far as infrastructure.
Right.
As far as delivering necessary goods. And you're a very good starting point. I'd be very, very much my pleasure to have you back on.
Oh, great. Well, I'd love to be here.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody, please put your hands together. And I hope you enjoyed his company as much as I did. You won't see him tonight. He's not coming out tonight. Not coming out. But I want you guys to put your hands together for Mark Robertson. Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
And there you have it, citizens. I know what you're thinking, but Evan, that's not passenger planes. Not a problem. We've got the helipad. We are getting food shipped in. This is all going to start slowly. I am thinking about you guys. I know the psychological need of leaving. That will be attained. But for now, we've got the coolest helipad and probably all time. We've got an airport identifier. I just registered WWF. It's all happening. We are now registered with the IACO. We have airport identifier, WWF. We have a helipad. We've got a helipad with a green Monster Energy thing beaming out of the ground. Think on that before you think of the concept of leaving or coming. No coming. It's gonna happen. We're gonna get planes, but everyone's talking about food at this point, and I'm getting weak. I'm failing. We need food, and I'm going to admit that. But I can't just go downtown to a neighboring city and pick up some sodas like a common man. We are doing this properly. This is a utopia. We're not mixing and matching. I'm getting a shipment. There's a shipment of food coming in very shortly once we get this all settled. So it's happening. You guys are going to be happy with it. You're going to be sustained, and I know we're still having fun. I know you're having fun. I'm having fun. But there's a looming darkness that I'm going to put a stop to. I'm going to shut that down. Hope you guys are happy. You see the beginnings. You see the structure. This is your mayor.
Was it a hearts or was it the hydro?